So if you haven't seen, there's a new event going on in Diablo 4 that goes until October 14th that's called Gift of the Tree that essentially doubles your Whisper caches. It works in a little bit of a different way because instead of just giving you like a duplicate of the Whisper cache you got or something, when you open up any Whisper cache, it will give you the legendary Gift of the Tree cache that gives you a mix of rewards from all of the other possible caches. So it'll give you a bunch of random gear, so a bunch of legendaries, possible uniques, possible chaos uniques. Like everything else in the game has a super low chance to give you mythics. It'll give you a bunch of gold, a bunch of experience. It'll give you some boss summoning materials. It can give you keys. So it's kind of just a mix of all of the other cache rewards. But anytime you open up any Whisper cache, you also get this box, meaning you're essentially getting double Whispers. But there are some incredibly strong uses for this, especially if you're somebody that's still progressing throughout the season with your main, or if you're looking to start some alts. Now, if you're looking to use these on your main, they're still going to be incredibly strong because while you can't kind of target farm what Whisper you want like you normally can, it still just gives you a ridiculous amount of loot. Just the like amount of gold and amount of different random crafting materials and things like that you get, and just the sheer amount of drops you get out of it makes it incredibly strong. So if you're still progressing your main or looking to more optimize your main, this still will be incredibly strong for that, just because of how much loot it's actually giving you. Outside of just doubling up how many Whisper caches you get, this cache seems a bit more juiced on average than other caches. Now, the more interesting way to use these, especially if you're looking to start to play some alts, is using these caches to level up alts very quickly and then also gear them up very quickly. And I went over this in one of my most recent videos, but essentially if you say go earn a cache on your main in Torment 4, you go put that in your stash and you open that up on say a level 1 alt, they will be earning rewards like they are in Torment 4. So a level 1 character opening up one Whisper cache from Torment 4 will get from level 1 to 23 in that one cache. So they will just be getting a ridiculous amount of experience from these. And another thing that's also really interesting is that when they open up that cache, they will get loot for the class that's opening it. So let's say you go earn this cache in Torment 4 on a druid and go open up this cache on a level 1 necromancer. That level 1 necromancer will not only get the ridiculous amount of experience, but it will also get max level gear for a necromancer. So farming a bunch of caches, opening them up on alts to start up that alt is incredibly strong for solo players because you not only level up that character very quickly, but you can get them full sets of gear pretty easily. Now, under normal circumstances, you need 27 of these caches to get a character from level 1 to 60. So that's 27 caches earned in Torment 4. And keep in mind, no experience boosts on that alt will buff up this rate. So you don't need to pop potions or try to get in a higher difficulty or anything like that. Doesn't matter what they open it up in, only matters what they're earned on. But because of the event that's currently going on, that's going to half. And I'm not sure the exact experience amount, but you will most likely need 14 caches. Because of the event going on, if you just open up one cache on that alt, they will also get the event cache right now. And the event cache is seeming to give the exact same amount of experience a normal Whisper cache would give, and they're seeming to work in the exact same way as normal Whisper caches as well. So you open it up on a necromancer, it'll give that necromancer gear, and it will all be at max level, all depending on what difficulty you actually earned that cache on. And within those now 14 caches you have to earn to get a character from level 1 to 60, you will also very easily earn enough gear to fully gear out that character, at least in all normal level 60 legendary gear. More than likely, you'll be able to give them quite a lot of ancestral gear as well. If you're a bit more lucky, you could probably give them a full set of ancestral gear, and you'll probably get a handful of uniques, maybe some chaos uniques as well. And then they'll also just have a ton of different keys, and you'll already have all of your chaos perks, your paragon levels, and all of your resources shared between them. So you could very easily just go upgrade and temper all of that gear incredibly easily and just jump that character right into Torment 4 like 10 minutes after you made that character. And we should also go over the most efficient ways to actually earn these caches, and there are a bunch of different ways, and you can definitely expand this more if you just want to keep farming, or you can just follow the things we're going to go over in this video and then wait for the whisper objectives to repopulate after you do them. So first off, you have your ladder boss whispers. So every hour, a good chunk of the whisper objectives throughout the map will cycle, and pretty much every time they cycle, there will be at least one ladder boss with a 5-point whisper on them. And keep in mind, you can teleport to the ladder boss instance, so it's much quicker to get there, and you don't actually have to use the ladder boss materials to get the whisper done. You just summon the boss, which costs nothing, defeat it, and you get your whispers. You don't have to actually use the materials to open up the chest. Then you have the more random whispers that also seem to cycle on that hourly basis as well. And this is the 5-point whispers, like doing a pit run or doing an Infernal Horde run or doing an Undercity run. Those ones are also very easy. And if you get it for the Infernal Horde run, just do the lowest key. It doesn't matter which one you do it on, but just do the lowest key so you can get it done as quickly as possible. And then you have your dungeon whispers. Now there are a lot of dungeon whispers up for every time they cycle. So if you really want to spend a lot more time, you can just run to every dungeon with a whisper up, and all of those are going to give you 5 whisper points, but running to them will actually be a lot of your time. Now, a big quality of life that came in with season 10 is that any of your nightmare sigils that has a dungeon that has a current whisper on it will show it on that nightmare sigil. You can also go craft a bunch of sigils to try to find a dungeon with a whisper on it as well. So that will save you some time. Or again, you can just run to every dungeon yourself because you can't just click and teleport to the dungeon entrances like you can with the ladder bosses. So keep that in mind. That is a good way to earn a lot of whispers pretty quickly, but a lot of your time is going to be just running to them. And then you have your Helltide Whispers, which you can double up on sometimes, because some of the times, I think every other Helltide, there will also be one up in Nahantu. So you can double that up. But the most efficient way to do this, if you're just trying to do 5-point whispers, is to just go there and do the maiden boss to get the 5 whispers very quickly. That will take like a minute or 2 to do it. Most of that being travel time. And you can get those 5 whisper points done pretty easily. But you can also pretty easily complete all of the other whispers in that Helltide fairly quickly as well, especially with the chaos portals, because you can just kill so many enemies so quickly. You can spawn the Harbinger super quickly, and it fills up your threat meter if that is one of the objectives as well. So you could pretty easily complete all of the other whisper objectives in Helltide fairly quickly this season. So you can do those as well. Those are going to range from 1 to 3-point whispers, so they're not going to give as much, but are generally still pretty quick to do as well. And then you have the PvP whispers, which if you haven't done, these are super effective to do anytime they reset. There are the 2 PvP zones. Each of these PvP zones will have a boss that will spawn in them and just walk around. If you kill that boss, that's a 5-point whisper, and you'll basically one-shot it because these PvP zones aren't like super scaled or anything like that. Then there is also a 3 whisper in each of the PvP zones that just wants you to pick up any amount of the PvP currency, which you just get from killing anything in there, and you go and cleanse it at any of the shrines there. That will take like a minute because I think the cleansing is like 30 or 45 seconds, and that can be another 3 points as well, and that is super efficient to just get 8 points for each of the PvP zones. And then outside of everything we mentioned, you also have your random world events, which are the Legion events or world bosses. Those are a bit more random, but they are somewhat efficient when they do pop up, so keep an eye out for world bosses. The 5 points on those is pretty easy. If you're already going to be playing, you can wait on the timer. Legion events can take a bit longer, but they can be worth if you're really just trying to do as many whispers as you possibly can. But that's pretty much everything you would want to be doing for all of those whispers. Also keep in mind, if you have a bunch of max level characters that you can do in Torment 4, especially if you're trying to level up new characters, you can just go and do whispers on other characters as well. So if you're someone that maybe wants to try out all the different characters or different builds for all the different classes this season, you can very, very easily go solo level and solo gear up new characters to get them into Torment 4 very quickly. Because earning 14 caches right now doesn't take that much time, especially if you can do multiple characters. It's just going to be ridiculously quick. And again, that'll get a new character from level 1 to 60 and pretty much give them a full set of starter gear that can easily jump them up into Torment 4. But that's all I want to go over. So thanks for watching.